Take a little break right there.
Be sure to make some nice pictures up there. Nice pictures up there.
All right. God is good.
All the time.
All the time. All the time God is good. Sometimes we might want to form a different opinion, but in our heart we know that God is good all the time. All the time. Well, here we are, we find ourselves back in the holiday season once again. Seems like it comes every year. Man. But it's an amazing time as we see the seasons change, we see things happen. And a season, by definition, is each of the 4 divisions of the year, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, marked by particular weather patterns and daylight hours resulting from the Earth's changing position in regard to the sun. Now, the days get shorter. We're not spending as much time outside. It's a little too cold to go swimming and go to the lake and all the things that we do in the summertime. But the season changes, and I was thinking about this, and I was reminded of how it changes. Not only when the season changes, it doesn't only just change the weather. It doesn't only just change the amount of daylight hours that we have. It actually changes people. Each of us individually and as a group, as this time of the year comes around, we begin to have a different perspective. The Thanksgiving season comes and we meet with family and we sit down and we talk about what we might be thankful for. Or maybe even just by ourselves, we stop and we think about what we're thankful for, the blessings that we receive every year, and we begin to have a little different change of season within ourselves. When we get to this time of the year, we're coming upon the Christmas season, and it's a time of giving. And there's a whole big research you can do on that, and I've been working on that. I really want to see and understand it all, but the idea of giving something to someone else, just of sharing gifts, of letting someone know you appreciate them, letting someone know that you care about them, letting someone know that of the last 300 or the last 11 months, you weren't just a nail on the wall, you were actually somebody to me. You actually, the things that you've done, the things that you've helped with, the things that have transpired, I recognize all of those, and I want to share something with you because of what you've already shared with me. See, these things are this is the season that we become part of. I remember working when you have a job and you're working at a big company, you're working somewhere where there's a lot of people, and the season begins to change, and all of a sudden they're planning the company Christmas party, and when I worked for Southland Corporation, the company Christmas party was about 3,500 people in one place at one time for the company Christmas party. And you meet people that but that's what this season does. As the season changes outside, things happen in our life, different places that we work, different people that we meet, different places that we go this time of the year. You meet different people at Walmart, you meet different people everywhere. And the demeanor and the attitude of a lot of people change. It's a season where things are a little different. And we look outside at the world outside, and we have an opinion of the way things are going, and sometimes it's well, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. Things aren't going so good, there's no fixing it, and it's just always going to get worse, and we just look at it that way. But I was looking up some devotionals, looking up some history of some devotionals from years back. Ideas and thoughts of people from years in the past. And there was a Methodist doctor, he was a missionary to India. His name was Stanley Jones. And he put together a devotional back in 1942 called Abundant Living. And this is one of the writings out of that book. And as I read it and I thought about it and I contemplated it, I thought, wow, maybe we need to dig that old devotional up and read it a little bit. Again, from Abundant Living, E. Charles Jones, 1942. The early Christians did not say in dismay, look what the world has come to, but in delight, look what has come to the world. They saw not merely the ruin, but the resource for reconstruction of the ruin. They saw not merely that sin did abound, but that grace did abound much more. On that assurance, the pivot of history swung from blank despair, loss of moral nerve, and fatalism to faith and confidence that at last sin had met its match. That would be something for the church to read every day, I think. Not to look at the despair and the wrong and the ruin and the things that we can find wrong, but look at what Jesus did when he came. Look at what he accomplished. Look at the purpose of him coming and the result of it. Look at the size of the church today. Look at the number of people that believe in Jesus today. Look at the change in the world because he came. What if he hadn't come? We have so much to recognize and to realize in this season that we live that we can share. With this philosophy in our mind that sin has met its match. Regardless of how much sin someone has in their life, there's a cure for that. There's a way for that to be dissolved and removed and taken out. Sin has met its match. It doesn't abound more than grace. Jesus came. And he came to this world that we could be, through him, we could be saved. That's something we should rejoice about, something we should be thankful for every day. Every day that one more person, every day that the sun comes up is another opportunity for one more person to give their life to Christ. For the result of Jesus coming to earth to come to fruition and to be reality is an opportunity every single day. John writes in the last verse of his book that if all the things that Jesus did were written down, the world could not contain the books. How about it, church? How many Christians are there out there today that have an opportunity to have this philosophy that grace is much more than sin? And if I'm diligent and I go out and I share that, just share it in love. Let somebody know, Jesus really does love you. There's so many little things that we can do as a church to abound the grace that Jesus brought by having the right frame of mind. By having, go to John chapter 16. Verses 31 through 33. Jesus answered them, do you now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone, and yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. Those are Jesus' words to his church. Be rejoiceful. Be happy. I've overcome all that. All that turmoil and all that stuff that's going on out there that causes us to get frustrated and causes us to get depressed and cause all kinds of bad things to come our way. Jesus said, I've already overcome that. Be of good cheer. Go and share some good cheer with somebody that they might get saved. We read in Acts how when they started the church and the numbers were added to them, 3,000. Do you realize that probably happens every Sunday? Do you realize that happens probably every week? Across the world, the number of people that accept Jesus Christ on a single day. We come up with the opinion that doesn't happen anymore, and yet it's happening all the time. As the church goes out, and the church is a witness that it's supposed to be, and people come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, and they say, Jesus said, now that you believe, do you believe, he says? Well, if you do, here's the reality of that. I've overcome the world. Grace will abound way more than sin. Sin has met its match. Share that with somebody. I have so much trouble in my life. Pastor, go ask Jesus about it. Let's go sit down and pray together about it. Let Jesus have it. Because he's already overcome that. He's already taken us away from that. Can you imagine? Now, here we are. We think of the birth of Christ at this time of year, and I kind of expanded on this last year, but think about Mary. Now, my youngest daughter, Shelby, is due any day. Any day. Her due date is Tuesday. And we went to Ozias' birthday party at the park yesterday. And here's Shelby. I don't know how much longer. And I think of Mary. She traveled all the way to Bethlehem the night before. And then, here's Ozias, it was his birthday. He's a year old. He doesn't walk. He can scoot real good. I call him Scooter. But so I carry him around part of the day, and we take turns holding him. He weighs probably 15, 16 pounds. And after about 30 or 40 minutes, the arms get longer and longer, and he gets lower and lower. Well, before Jesus was 2, Mary and Joseph had to go again. And he couldn't walk. They had to carry him all the way. There wasn't a bus. There wasn't super shuttle coming by to pick them up and take them on their way. Herod was going to kill all the babies. They had to go again, so now they're going to carry him. And there's only 2 of them. Now, if you're going to carry somewhere 16, 17, 18-month-old baby all day long, and there's only 2 of you, guess what? It's going to get tiresome. I can imagine today, if this happened today, I can imagine Mary telling Joseph, "That's it, buddy. No more of this." But yet she endured. You don't read anywhere that she complained. As a matter of fact, go to Luke chapter 1. Go to Luke. Now see how many of us would have this attitude after all that Mary endured with Christ, after all that she went through, after everything they did. I mean, even Joseph, he had to say, "Lord, why are we going so far and have to carry this kid? Why couldn't we went there first?" Listen to Mary. Luke 1, 46 through 50. 46. And blessed is he that believed, for there shall be a performance of those things which were told from the Lord. And Mary said, "My soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit hath rejoiced in God my Savior. For he hath regarded the low estate of his handmaiden, for behold, from henceforth all generations shall be blessed. For he that is mighty hath done to me great things, and holy is his name. And his mercy is on them that fear him from generation to generation." Would that be your testimony after all that? See, Mary recognized what Jesus did when he came. She recognized the importance. She knew this is God. She was one that for sure knew it was a virgin birth. And she endured all of that, and then she comes to the place that she just rejoices in what God has done in her life. Because she realized that God was doing something for mankind. She didn't know all the end results. She didn't know anything was going to happen, but she said, "I rejoice, for he is counted worthy. For he's allowed me to serve him." He allows you to serve him every time you have an opportunity to share a testimony, to pray for somebody. He's allowing you an opportunity to serve him just like he did Mary. He wants to bless your life. And the obedience and in the things that we do for Christ, when we recognize that of all the tribulation and all the trials and all the difficult things that are out there, it's already been overcome. I don't have to look at it as if it's going to defeat me. Jesus already defeated it. I can rejoice in that. I can have a boldness and a confidence that says, do you know who Jesus is? Let me tell you about that. Let me tell you. I would love to tell you what I think of Jesus. Have you ever said that to somebody? I would love to tell you. There's a song my pastor sings in our church that says, I would love to tell you what I think of Jesus. Very simple little words. And yet we're fearful because we don't know how the world is going to react when Jesus said, I've already overcome that. I've already endured that. I've already set it in place. And I've put you here to share. I put you here to go into all the land and all the world and share the gospel of Jesus Christ. When He puts it on your heart and He puts it in your heart and you get it in your spirit and your soul and your mind, and that's all you can think about, go tell somebody. Don't be afraid, because He said, I've already overcome that. Don't think the world is going to overpower you, because sin has already been met its match. It's amazing the things that happen. As I was just reading through things, I found a little cowboy poem. And I want to share it with you today. So here's old Christmas coming on, reminding us again of who's come and brought goodwill